All right, hello everyone. Today I'm my 1000 day challenge. This is day 314, so let's get things started. All right, so first and foremost, you'll notice the balance is up slightly like what I mentioned yesterday. I closed the main trading account setup in terms of the price action wise, as you'll notice. So that trade was actually taken as well. So it was only around $50, around 0.5 R, and reason being it was a trailing stop loss kind of a trigger. All right, with that said, I've actually also taken, I think, 2 losses from experimental setup earlier today. So later after this video, I'll update it as well. All right, otherwise, if you look in terms of the market structure overall wise, Nasdaq and S&P 500 still looks to be bullish on the daily chart basis. So you can see very nicely that we are hovering near the all-time high region, even though there's some sort of rejection, there's potentially some sort of rejection, potentially retesting this 20 exponential moving average or consolidating nicely above there will be a great sign. And similarly for Nasdaq itself, we are hovering right below these key horizontal resistance on the daily chart itself. So we've been rejected once after attempting to pass by yesterday. So let's see how things goes about it. All right, so overall, even if there's some sort of retracement and pullback, as long as it's not too major and we consolidate within the upper half of it, then tentatively we still remains bullish in terms of the mid to long-term wise. I mean, mid-term wise. Long-term wise, I'm definitely bullish across the board in terms of the general financial market itself. And if you look in terms of ASHR itself, yeah, as long as we are supporting this 20 exponential moving average, I lean towards further bounce towards the upside, but let's see how this 20 exponential moving average is able to hold, as we are now testing it potentially for the second day in a row. And on the other hand, for KWEB, like what I mentioned, is a little bit more bearish than others, but tentatively, as long as we do not break below this key horizontal support $66, I'll lean towards the bullish side of things. But if we do consolidate, the longer we consolidate over here, then potential for breakdown is definitely leaning towards the higher side as well. All right, and finally for Bitcoin itself, so it's finally retested these 20 exponential moving average on the daily chart. As this is potentially so-called the second retest, I do lean towards some bearish momentum or signs of rejection. But of course, when it comes to Bitcoin itself, it really depends on whether the selling pressure is there or are sellers stepping in to actually sell at this volume itself. So if you look closer in terms of the 4-hour chart itself, you can see that on the 4-hour chart, we actually did manage to close above this 150 simple moving average. Let me just confirm. So the closing itself was actually at 37838. And you can see that the 150 simple moving average was 37757. So definitely we've closed above that. So even if we do have some sort of rejection, it's very fairly understandable. You can see that this downslope kind of trend line we rejected once, rejected twice, rejected this potentially the third time itself. So potentially this is only formed when these two spots actually form. So do bear in mind that we are still forming lower highs. So we are still not out of the woods yet in terms of the bearish momentum, and lows where we are still technically forming lower lows. So technically it is without a doubt that the sentiment remain in the market still remains bearish. So however, if we could remain clearly supported above this 50 simple moving average on the 4-hourly chart, then it'd be a very great sign that we could actually break above. And we do find support over this region itself, which is between the 39K to the 38K region over here for the next couple of days, or next couple of 1 to 2 days. You could very well retest this 200 simple moving average that's sloping downwards. And if you can safely break above here by the next week itself, that will tentatively be a really, really good sign for Bitcoin in terms of a potential strong reversal. But until then, I do lean towards further bearish momentum on the 4-hour time frame and below. So there could be some sort of pullback. But of course, on the 1-hourly chart, you do see some sort of potential strength just as well. So let's see how price react to it. So I'm a little bit cautious, but at the same time, I do enter for short swing trade, taking one step at a time. All right. Otherwise, with that said, I'm clearly waiting for a clear rejection on the 150 simple moving average. We don't have one right now, but if we do, I will wait for bearish market structure to close below this 150 simple moving average to potentially enter a short in terms of price action wise to retest this 33K mark or even this 30K mark region. All right, so with that said, I've come to the end of today and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.